In the span of about 50 hours, the vibe has morphed. It has gone from confident to concerned and bolstered to bothered. Rangers lose Game 4 in Tampa. 4-1 the final. Hi, everyone. Welcome inside our Delta MSG studios. John Giannone alongside Steve Valiquette. So the Rangers have now gone almost 140 minutes without a 5-on-5 goal. They scored 3 goals in Tampa in 2 games, all on the power play. Yeah. The good news is it's a best-of-3 series with 2 games in New York. The bad news is it's a best-of-3 series.
Well, good and bad. It feels like a new series, doesn't it? But with the Rangers being able to return home where they've had so much comfort, success, there's no way it can look like that. That game really reminded me of Game 5 in Carolina where the Rangers only mustered 1 high-danger scoring chance. Teams don't get frustrated when they don't score if the chances are plentiful. But this wasn't the case here, John. There wasn't any moment in this game that I thought the Rangers were going to get on a streak and run this thing. It wasn't until garbage time that they started getting scoring opportunities. With that said, I feel like there's still an opportunity here to take a step back and say, look, big picture, it's 2-2. We're going home where we've been very comfortable and we know how to play in front of our crowd and get energized that way. Look, the playoffs, they will expose some people and some people will elevate. I just think that I thought that Artemi Panarin would get elevated from Kucherov, and the Rangers really need him to elevate his game because he is the key to the offense and getting scoring opportunities when the coach is really blending the lines through the game. Yeah. But that was part of loss of Hedel and Strome, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But the lines were in a blender for a reason because nothing was working.
And that is really where Artemi Panarin and other players will have to step up because the injury added to the insult. Ryan Strome did not play in this game because of an injury suffered last game. Philip Hedel missed the last 26 minutes from an upper body injury after a collision with Victor Hedman. This was a game that the Rangers were chasing from the 2:38 mark of the first period where Zach Bogosian, really an unknown offensive commodity throughout his career, makes a move to get to the net, and Pat Maroon, who's won 3 straight cups and is now one of 3 teams left to try to win a 4th, hops on the rebound.
Well, Bogosian has 4 goals in the last 3 years, so you don't expect him to turn you. And, this was actually just a sum of all parts from the first period where Tampa Bay was really having their way with the stretch pass. They were able to get up the ice, and that's what they want to do. They want to create a long game and then get it wide. But this is where you have a problem because Braun turns, and when his skates are facing Shesterkin, it's an opening to get to the middle. And that's why Bogosian's able to come, is because he turns Braun that way. Shesterkin, his ability to read this play depends on what he believes his defensemen are going to do here. And when you have 4 Rangers in front of you, you are surprised. There is an element of surprise there that Igor Shesterkin senses and then is overwhelmed by when Bogosian's able to get inside before Maroon skates in between 4 of his teammates and gets a rebound goal. Now, this is one thing that we have to pay close attention to. The Rangers have only had 4 rebound chances in the first 3 games coming into this evening, whereas Tampa has 11. So 11 rebound chances, and you saw it on the Stamkos goal as well. They are getting to the net, but they're getting to the net in the right places, and their shots are ending up on the backside of the net, and that becomes very difficult for Shesterkin to manage himself.
3rd goal of the playoffs for Pat Maroon. It was 1-0 after 1, a period in which the Rangers outshot the Lightning 10-8, but you sure could have fooled anybody who watched the game. Yeah. It sure was one-sided in favor of Tampa. 2nd period, 7 minutes left in the period, still 1-0 until a double whammy opportunity in front of Igor Shesterkin. He got the first, but he couldn't stop Kucherov the second time.
Yeah, and look, this is the middle of the ice, and it's coveted. You have to protect it. You don't want to chase from the dots to the boards, but it started earlier with a play from Kucherov to be able to get through in the first place with Stamkos and Plot. They're all there. They're hounding Shesterkin. He makes a big play. Sometimes in a game, that's a game changer. You're hoping for a momentum swing, but what you get is the opposite, and now Kucherov comes down and he scores on a 5-hole shot that, John, I really wonder about because of the way that it came off of Kucherov's stick. And this is the thing about him. He's crafty, and under pressure, he tries things. And I really wonder about that release because I had somebody text me and sent me a message that's in the know, and he said that he works on this shot where it comes off funny. And if you think about the goal that he had in game number 3, the one-timer, it also was almost like a double shot. He almost hit it twice on his one-timer. Now, I think that's a stretch to imagine that he's able to do that.
Right.
But sometimes that guy makes me wonder, because we've seen him in the shootout during regular season play make that move where he shoots it and he skates over the puck and allows it to go in. There's a lot of trickery to his game.
Yeah.
Now, another thing, I think a lot of people think that Igor's got a problem getting beat 5-hole on breakaways this postseason. It's not the case. I've got a low glove, a low blocker, a mid glove, and only 2 5-holes. So it's not like, everybody can just relax on that one. It's not we don't have a 5-hole epidemic.
Yeah. Goals are goals. Kucherov with his 7th of the postseason. At that point, he had participated in 6 of the previous 7 Tampa Bay goals. It was 2-0 after 2, and less than 5 minutes into the third period, 2-0 became 3-0, and at that point, you figured the game was probably over, and it was the captain of the 2-time champions who cashed in.
Well, here's the thing. As much as we've talked about Kucherov in this series, after these 2 games, I'm talking about Hedman a lot because he's been outstanding, but Stamkos has been the best performer in the conference final, and that includes Colorado and Edmonton. He has the most scoring chances. He's been the most dangerous around the net. He's been the guy that you got to key on here. And I talk about this all the time, John. It's the value of the weak side rebound. The rebound that goes to the opposite side of the ice. These are killers. You've got a pickup man here. You can't let him get behind you. In fact, 2 Tampa Bay players are behind the defense. And these sometimes, and especially in this case, almost become indefensible. Igor has nothing but a paddle to wave at it.
Right.
It's a very difficult play. But once again, this is a team that knows how to create rebounds, and I get the sense that they're funneling pucks to the net to try and get the puck to go to the weak side of the ice. And at that weak post is where Kucherov and Stamkos were there just marinating.
7th for the playoffs for Stamkos, 3rd in this series against the Rangers. That made it 3-0. Rangers broke the ice with 3:33 remaining. Panarin on the power play. But again, the game ends 4-1 on a night where now the Rangers have gone 138 minutes and 39 seconds without an even strength goal, without a 5-on-5 goal. And it was a night where they just didn't seem to be able to muster anything, whether it be in their own end, through the neutral zone, or in the offensive end. What is the deal?
Well, part of the issue was just getting out of their own zone. And when you have difficulty in your own zone, it's oftentimes because the D from the opposition are pinching down and your own wingers are trying to come down on the puck at the same time. And it's a race that you can't win. They're coming down the wall and you have to get to the inside. You have to be able to bring the puck into the inside, or you have to get it to the weak side of the ice so you can get out of your zone. If you're having difficulty, it oftentimes looks like this. This was case in point for me that really spells out what the entire first period looked like, John. But right now it's Ruda down the wall, and now Tampa Bay has full coverage because Kucherov is at the point. But right now on the other side of the ice, watch who comes down here on Gaudreau. That's Hedman. So both defense for Tampa Bay have pinched down on this series, and you can't get out of your zone. You're hemmed in, and it's really 3-on-1 in that corner for a split second with Stamkos. Ruda comes down for a second time. Now, what you have to do is you have to find a way to get to the middle of the ice. So instead of using the boards, which is predictable on the breakout, you've got to get to the middle. I know there's some risk there, and you've got to be a little bit risk adverse when it comes to seeing it at 100%. This is a good example of using the weak side breakout where you get to the other side of the ice and now you're able to break in. But on both of those plays, you can see the Rangers didn't do anything once they got in. On a set controlled breakout, the Rangers did a nice job on this play here, but to the middle of the ice, not enough of a shot with enough traffic or people getting to the net for a rebound. It was difficult to get out of their own zone in the first period. It was difficult in the second period. Only 2 high danger chances in the third period of Game 3 and 0 up until the end of the third period in Game 4.